Here's your daily dose of fitness, food, and fun. Anjelica's Daily Surprise starts now.
That your body's going to feel even more open. You get that swag back. All of a sudden, you got less resistance.
I got my swag back.
Yes, just pressing the shit out of every single joint. Sorry about the word.
You can say shit. We say it all the time here.
All right.
Hello there and welcome to my apartment. We're still with Dean Singh here, who's a personal trainer and fascial stretch therapist and stretch ninja, and we're going to pick up where we left off.
When it comes down to our body, mobility entirely is to improve execution of the posture. So if you want to improve posture, you got to have peace with one thing, that you have to start applying it. You can't improve something that you don't do. Right. Have you ever seen any ballet dancers get good at ballet without dancing?
No.
Have you seen anyone get good at photography without just actually shooting anything? No, I have never seen anyone just get better at squats without doing squats. So it's all about practicing it. Posture is an integrative skill, and once you go into a manual mode, which most grown adults have to, they have to refine their bodies, they have to make sure the hardware moves to be able to capitalize on that internal programming that your body can't make sense of anymore. So the moment your posture is there, or there is less resistance within the joints, your body will automatically just assume good posture, which you notice after our sessions. You don't have to think about it.
So what are like a couple of simple things people can do to remember good posture or integrate some good habits into their life, other than GEM, for example?
The GEM it's fantastic. It's because it's a GEM. So ground, engage, and move. So a lot of times you would think, if you're sitting, how does that apply? Right? If you're sitting, how do you apply GEM? So ground, you will use your feet. You'll push your heels down. Why heels? It's your calves are generally quite tight in people. And if I were to sort of look at my heel and I'm driving this heel away, if you visualize, there's a bodysuit. I'm wearing a bodysuit. I won't have the bodysuit in full tension until my heel is pushed away.
Right.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
That is your fascial bodysuit I'm talking about.
Okay.
All right? So if you're sitting down, you push down through your heel, and then you engage, your core gets tight, all of a sudden you will feel kind of awkward using the backrest because you won't need it.
Right.
You may get lazy afterwards and use it anyways, that's up to you, that's your problem, but you will notice ground and engage produces that internal stability, negating the need for your body to rely on external stability. Now the movement happens in the diaphragm at that point, so if I breathe out, your core gets tight. If you try to breathe into that tight core, you will feel effort. Try that. Breathe out. The core gets tighter. Now try to breathe into the diaphragm while the core is tight. See how that feels.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's restricted.
So diaphragm is a muscle, okay? So the muscular loading principles will apply to that muscle too. So when you're breathing with the core being engaged, now your diaphragm starts to get stronger. Now all of a sudden your body realizes my respiratory system can keep up with the demand of internal, just tightness in the core that's being put forward by the functional system or the musculoskeletal system. So the both systems, they start to improve on daily basis, and every single breath you're taking in that sitting position now is helping you connect better to your core. So now you go and work out, all of a sudden you notice, okay, this squat session felt really good to me. Why? Because you already had a different body getting into it. So GEM is amazing just to remind yourself that let me ground, engage, and move. I'm sitting down here, it's a little bit lower, I'm going to ground, engage, and I'm going to move my diaphragm. If I'm sitting cross-leg, same thing, doesn't really matter. In every position now, my ankles and my butt's touching the ground. I'm going to ground, push down, engage, and then I'm going to breathe into it. And you will notice your body consistently reminds you of taking different positions because you're not meant to be in one position for a long period of time. That's one thing everyone can do that could be helpful. And two, from the stretching standpoint, there's one stretch I find extremely effective to hit your hip flexors and calves. It's very easy to execute. All you got to do is get yourself into a split stance.
Okay.
In this position, as I start to shift the weight forward onto my front foot, I'm squeezing my backside, so my glute really tight. You will notice a little bit of a stretch in the front as a result of that. Start to push down through your back heel consistently. Same thing, let's ground. So push your heels down, engage, and you can bring your right arm up and do not allow any movement over here, and you're going to move it all the way around. So it's like a shoulder car while you are maintaining and assuming that position. And then you switch onto the other side. So it's okay to allow the ribs to move, but don't allow the hips to move.
Right.
Because if you go, the ribs move, you will feel a stretch over here.
Yes.
You feel that? Now let's try the same thing on this side. When this goes around, now you're going to feel a stretch over here.
Yeah.
So if you do a little walk after just doing this, you will feel that your body's going to feel even more open. You get that swag back. All of a sudden you got less resistance.
I got my swag back.
Yes, it's very important. You need to have a swag. All right, so once you have that back, then guess what you do? Apply the gem. Ground, engage, and connect to your breath. All of a sudden you start to feel sitting straight feels easier. You're sitting in the office for 8 hours a day. Set one of those smart watches, an hour reminder that the alarm goes off or it just vibrates, just tells you something useful for once. That get up and just stretch your calves and do for 30 seconds, few circles here, few circles there, and just sit down and then ground, engage, and move. You breathe about 20,000 plus times a day.
Okay.
You can fundamentally change how you breathe. You will improve the activation of the core, one. And second, if you are able to hold this alignment for all day long in an ideal world, every single day your body's getting better. You're getting better. So years no longer mean that you have to say yes to functional regression. That is optional. That is optional. Your body moves how it moves. It's not based on age. Aging is a cop-out. I see, because I've seen changes in people's bodies at every single age. In fact, 78 is not the oldest client, 82. Her sister was the oldest one that I worked on. And it always works. It always works. And it's so simple because I'm not doing anything fancy over there. There's nothing more than me moving your body in directions or planes that you don't move.
Yes.
That's all that is. Adding a little bit of traction to create that space so your own healing fluid internally, that's your blood, can do what it needs to do to lubricate the areas. And with a consistent work, you start to get better. But in the absence of your application, that if you don't apply posture, you can't improve it.
Right.
Going back to that same analogy of ballet dancer.
Yeah.
You got to practice it, and I generally find 4 weeks is a really good time when your body starts to sit up. Like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm finding that sitting straight is getting a little easier now. That's good. That's fantastic. And all of a sudden, I don't want to sit straight anymore. I want to sit and stand straight both. I want to mix it up. All right, that's good too. So your body starts to coach you at a certain point what it wants, and I think that's very, very vital. And that's how we started our movement journey. You look at a baby. There's a lot of observation. You look at the finger, you move the finger, you're good. But what if the baby, for some reason, just moved the finger, was content with the fact I can move the finger? That's okay. I don't need to discover any further.
Yeah, we stop observing as we get older.
Exactly. So chances of physical development in that baby would be a lot lower if there was no actually desire to move. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's movement doesn't mean that you absolutely have to have 3 to 5 days a week in the gym. Movement means it needs to be part of your lifestyle. Now, that doesn't even mean that now every single hour you have to get up and go for a walk now, because even that's a lot. Wherever you're sitting, wiggle your toes. Breathe into your diaphragm. That's also considered movement. You moving your diaphragm and paying attention to your posture is also movement. A lot of times you notice, you're probably finding it right now, pushing your heels down and breathing into your core. This alignment feels easy to attain. You're not thinking about it right now. Well, guaranteed, I worked on you. You had Stretch Ninja.
No,
I
do feel good.
So that works like a charm, and it's a really simple, cost-effective thing. Load your heels, breathe into your diaphragm, access your core by exhaling, deep exhale until you notice core is tight. Feel that alignment. This is your body. Just learn how to feel it a little bit. At the moment you feel the tension inside the core, all of a sudden you feel that sitting doesn't feel as bad.
No, usually when I sit, I'm like, oh, all I want to do is do this.
Yep.
But when you engage the heels and your breath properly, suddenly it bolsters you in a way. So.
And it works in any position. I've tried that even on the couch. I would lie down sometimes. Okay, you know what? I want to just basically relax. Even here too. Okay, I've got grounding option through here. I'll push down from my this heel, relax this, push down from my this leg. I would breathe out, tighten up the core. And there will be some kind of pillow over here, though. Now all of a sudden I feel that I have access to the diaphragm, and getting out of this position, then it feels easy for me because I always maintain control. The point of the grounding and engagement is to sort of clear the pathways, in simple terms, just to access your diaphragm, that you can basically have an uninterrupted breathing pattern in that position. So if you don't have that, the candle is burning on both the ends. One, decompression in the body. Gravity is just compressing the shit out of every single joint. Sorry about the word.
You can say shit. We say it all the time here.
All right. That's good. So gravity is just compressing the shit out of the joints and your spine. And second, now you don't even have access to your diaphragm. Now try that. It's sitting in this position. If you try to breathe into your diaphragm, it's not going to happen.
Right.
You can't do it. You can try physically. You can do. It's going to be such a
compressed.
weird. You'll have to have, if you want to take a big breath or deep breath, you'll have to lift up your shoulders. It's going to happen. So you end up putting your pecs, your scalenes, your neck muscles, your intercostals into overdrive.
Yeah.
Now, not only now you are stressing your body on a physical level, you're altering the breathing mechanics. And a lot of people stick with that for the rest of their lives. Now, we're just talking posture, but let's just say, hypothetically, breathing is important for our life. And if you're...
Let's just say that.
Hypothetically. So if your breathing pattern alters to the point, now you're no longer breathing the way you are supposed to organically breathe, could that have any other health complications associated with it?
Yes.
Now, they could be any of them, any of the cancers or anything that your body wants to heal out of. It can't. Why? Because now the things that promote healing, your own breath, oxygenating blood, when you breathe in, we hold on to that pause. How many people even pause on the top? Not many. I didn't used to until I figured out why that pause was there for. So when I realized that
What is the pause?
The pause on the top of the breath allows your body to extract all the nutrients from the air. So we call it in Eastern philosophy prana. So in that pause, that's one thing that happens. Second, your body is able to take out all the bad blood that needs to go and wherever it needs to go. And it also brings down your overall, your heart rate, because that's down-regulating thing for your central nervous system. So there's a lot of benefits. There's actually a book on YouTube, Science of Breath, Hindu Science of Breath. It's a great book. It basically outlines the breath cycle and what every component of the cycle is supposed to do. But the point is, if you were to dedicate your fitness to two things, that I want to improve my posture and I want to improve how I breathe, man, you will keep turning into a better body every single year, 100%.
Dean, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate that.
That's been Anjelica's Daily Surprise. See you next time.